Ich bitte Sie entschuldigen, dass ich nicht in Deutsch sprechen will. Mein Deutsch ist leider sehr schlecht und deshalb werde ich in Englisch sprechen. So, I got 25 minutes and I'm going to show you a lot of images. Some of those images will be available on the web page of the conference later. So, I'm going to speak about digitization and the meaning of place. First, a little bit about the future of the library, then a little bit about digital services, and then something about the library as a space. Well, 2020, the libraries will be extinct. Some of you have probably seen that on the internet. This is the extinction timeline, the timeline of everything is being gone because of digitization. So in 2020, the libraries will be gone, some people say. Gerald says no, they are being reinvented. We'll see about that. But a lot of libraries are really getting close to 12 o'clock when the doom is coming. So we need to reinvent the library. New ways of being professional and make new products, new alliances, which was also what Mr. Rudi Klausnitzer spoke about this morning. We have new business opportunities. In Denmark, we had a new strategies for the libraries in 2010. Has 4 elements: a new library model, a new way of thinking about the libraries, something about the Danish digital library, then the idea of the open library, a library where you as a user just identify yourself, go in and serve yourself. We have actually implemented that in a lot of libraries in Denmark, and it works. And then the idea of being partner with other entities. These 4 elements, they are the basic of the Danish strategy. This is the model that we think in. 4 spaces. It's a mental model. It's not necessarily physical, but you have the space for inspiration. You go to the bookstore, you see the book front page, you get inspired. You want to buy a book you have never seen before, but this book appeals to something in you. Space for inspiration. Then there's a space for learning. This is where you actually sit down and learn with other people. The social constructivists, they say you can only learn together with people. Then there's a space for meeting. That's where democracy happens. That's where you express yourself. And then there's a space for performance. This is where you actually create. The space for performance is the new space in the libraries. Libraries have always been about inspiration, about learning, about meeting. But the new thing is that now it's a space for performance also. So, the digital library, what is it? In Denmark, it is an infrastructure for digital objects. It's collaboration on buying content, and it's promotion and mediation of content. These 3 elements are the Danish digital library. The idea is we will liberate data and information from where it's embedded. So if you have a repository for ebooks, we will bring some of the content in connection with different content via linked data. We create relations between data. And we embed also the user's knowledge in this system. And we try to place the information in a meaningful context for the users. We only use open source. This is how it functions. A little bit technical, but easy to understand. Actually, on the left side, you have the sources, data layer. You say this is a 3-layer model, service-oriented architecture. On the left side, databases, ebook repositories, and that stuff. In the middle, you see the data repository, the well that contains the metadata, like the old catalog cards, is contained in that data well, the data repository. Then there's the application layer, little pieces of programming called APIs. They are open APIs. Anyone can write them. And then, if you can program, that is, anyone can write them. And then you have the presentation layer. That is your handheld device or your PC or whatever. So the little APIs, they take the metadata, and with the metadata, they take the data content. And they mash it together and they put it out into your little mobile phone, your smartphone, your PC, or your tablet. And then when you use something, some content, you take an ebook, for instance, then your transaction is being picked up and put into the system again. So the system can see how many users of this ebook and give recommendation back to other users. You can also yourself write recommendations to the system. So this entire infrastructure functions just like Amazon, only it's owned by the libraries. Right now, we are in the process of building our library automation system on top of this system. So all the library systems in Denmark will probably be one library system put on top of this. And this is what we build on top of it. We have this old service called the Library DK or Bibliothek DK. All the holdings in Danish libraries. You can get a book from anywhere in Denmark to a library near you through this service. We have the fiction literature portal, also built in this system. Old system, now modernized. We have a lot of collaboration with nationwide public service TV. A lot of libraries are on board on this. We have the homework help online, where volunteer students actually help pupils with their homework online. This is a call center facility, actually. We have BibZoom, which is music online, another music service called eMusic service. We have the video on demand service, where you can watch movies and so on. We have the audio ebook MP3 format service, and we have the ebook shelf service. All built in this open service. This is how the e-shelf looks on your tablet, on your laptop, and on your smartphone. We started that one in 2011, and we had a lot of publishers work together on that. Eventually, some of the big publishers pulled back, but right now we are in negotiations with them. We have still 130 publishers, and probably we will make an agreement during this summer with the last remaining big publishers. So, a lot of things are happening. This is our OPAC, Open Public Access, our catalog in the Aarhus Public Libraries. We have embedded a lot of content in this OPAC, so when you search the OPAC, you actually get the actual film, the actual audiobook, the actual e-music. It's all in the OPAC, so you don't get a reference anymore. You actually get the stuff when you search it. We have a lot of, this is our mobile platform where you get a lot of content. This is one of the recommendation services, an old one, where others who have borrowed this, Blind Assassin, has also borrowed some other stuff, statistically ranked, gives automatic recommendations to the users. We tend to build in the content from these services, these digital services, into other institutions' homepages and websites. So on the right-hand side, you have the websites of some of the learning institutions in Aarhus, and we embed relevant content, digital content, into their OPACs. So the students of, say, college, they get a relevant amount of content for them. We also put a lot of stuff into the city mob portals. So the libraries are everywhere now. We work together. This is really smart, also because of the digital infrastructure. This is our homepage. This is the homepage of the city of Esbjerg library. This is the one from Kolding, another city in Jutland, and this is from Copenhagen. It's precisely the same engine that it runs on. It's precisely same infrastructure. We just give it a different skin. It looks different, but it is the same. So this is an exhibition. On top you see the book front pages, exhibition of books about bad weather that Kolding has made, but we import it in Aarhus and can use it in our homepage just like this. So we use the work of each other in that manner. This is not working. Responsive design, that means that the portals will adapt to the size of your tablet or your smartphone. Everything is built in open source and only digital content on these tablets. The last thing I will mention on this is the open data thing. Because Mr. Rudi Klausnitzer talked about the open data and the big data. And in Aarhus, it's the library that runs the open data portal. That means that all the data that is generated by public service in Aarhus is being exhibited, put out on this portal. So private businesses can take these data and create new services upon it. And it's the library that is in center of that initiative. So this is one of the new business possibilities that the libraries have if we are embracing the development and not rejecting it. Okay. So what happens with the physical space because of all this digitization? For instance, this e-book shelf, when we launched it, this is how the physical library looked in 2011. We had banners and posters and everything in the physical library. This is how our user interfaces on the computers looked, also about the e-book shelf. This is in the actual shelves we put in computers with. This is a scan point. You hold up a book to the scanner and the screen will tell you about the book, other books of the same authors, others who have borrowed this book have also borrowed this book, and all that stuff. Very easy to make. And of course, there are help to find. This is the pylon outside the city, so when you enter the city by car, these big posters, screens will show something about the e-book shelf. It's the library that runs these screens. Of course, it's a city initiative. We do a lot of promotion of all kinds of things that happens in the city, but it's a library that runs it. It's us who are the editors of these pylons in Aarhus. You see the poster behind the glass. In Aarhus, it's prohibited to put posters outside on buildings that are publicly owned, so we had to put them on the inside, but still we make it very visible. So we try to build universes. This is a universe of a children's site that libraries have made. It's called Palace Gift Shop, and these figures, they are characters. They are very different characters. They are on the digital websites and so on. All Danish public libraries are part of this initiative. We try to make it sort of recognizable for kids, these types here. And you find them also in the physical library as decorations and user interfaces and so on. This is another initiative, the Info Galleria, where you can press these sort of buttons on the screen and some of the digital contents are presented to you. This is a newer version which gives you access to various kinds of games. This is also issues. This was a gadget where the book will explain about itself. When you hold up the phone to the book, it'll start talking to you. This was an early version, not good for your neck. Story heads, PDA equipped, will tell you stories when you're wearing them. The story chair is well known. The quibbler is something where you press a button and sentences emerge and you have to put the words in the right order. Stuff like that. So, the way we work is more interesting actually because we have a partnership strategy. If you have sort of an axis of short-term, long-term, and one of very much interaction and not very much interaction. You get these 4 squares where you can sort of put in your different types of partnerships. And you know, if you get a sponsorship, you get some money, it's very short term, and the sponsor doesn't want to know a lot. That's just it. It's on the left side down square. But we have been working very much with a lot of interaction with our partners and on a longer term, and that has typically been in some research moves. The University of Aarhus have been one of our very good partners. So we have learned a lot by these partnerships that we have done. We get a very big network. We have got new resources, new ideas, new skills in the library. I'll just skip this one because it gets a little bit too complicated. I'll just go into the methods that we use. We have a lot of meetings with partners. We do workshops with young people, developing ideas. We work in focus groups. World Cafe, very common concept. I'm sure you have, a lot of you have been working in World Cafe concept. Vision creating, phototyping, where we have people taking pictures of what they envision could be a future, maybe idea. It can be very concrete, but it can also be very fuzzy, just a sentiment or a feeling that can be illustrated that way. Village Square, also a well-known method. Lead users, where we have actually hired students from the university to work with us for 6 hours per week, and they have to be expert in some field. It could be literature, or it could be gamification, or whatever. And then we use them and their network to create services, outgoing services for the library. We call them mind spotters, and it works. These are mind spotters. User-driven design is participatory design, where we actually interview the users on the services and try to make them use it so we can see if it actually functioned. This was when we were in the phase where we should create the demands for the architectural competition for the new main library. We invited young children of between 9 to 14 years to do prototypes of what they thought the library should be about. And that is about 7 years ago, and now the library is coming on, and these kids will be sort of main users of this place, and they have been part of the creation. Actually, this was videotaped, and that was part of the competition brief for the architects that would put in a bid. They had to answer to that, the architects. In the beginning, they thought we were crazy, but eventually they understood we were serious. And that has been tremendous. So this results in a lot of activities in the library, a lot of events, exhibitions, tuition. This is a part of the library giving tuition on self-service in the public domain, you know, citizen services and all the things that you must do now in Denmark by yourself on the net. Consultation, individual help, self-learning, self-checkout, a lot of talks, discussions, debates, creation, hanging out, writers' workshop, performances, playing, innovation. Hacker labs is very popular. People's lab, doing things. in the performative space. Sometimes people chill out. This was in May, just a week ago. The Aarhus Mini Maker Fair in the library was a great success. This is how things look when you make a mini maker fair. And this is the new main library coming up on the harbor front, right there. This is how it look. And these are questions that you could think about. So the first and most important question for any library is, which questions in society are you the answer to? What is the problem in society that the library is the answer to? Think about that. That's a good question. And you could also think about which would be interesting partners to engage with. And what will your library be when all content is actually digitized? And how will you create new and innovative services in the library? I'll just show you a little piece. And now I need to ask. Not Mozart, I'm sorry. Thank you. That was it.